Okay then, final lesson right now on vocal technique, and this one is a very seriously technical lesson. Now, the reason it's so technical is because it encompasses not only what to do, but why to do it. Okay, so I'm going to start with the actual vocal muscles, the vocal apparatus that you use when you're producing a tone. So one of the things you're going to use is, let's just do it in order. The first thing you're going to use is your diaphragm, and that is just to take your in-breath. Because if you haven't got an in-breath, then you might have too much tension up here to start making sounds. So you want to have a really nice, easy in-breath. Do, do, do. Whether it's a soft sound or a heavy sound, loud sound you're going to make, you need to have an in-breath. Now, after your in-breath, and then comes your pronunciation. Do. Now, this is a bone of contention in a sense, because there's so many places you could start your pronunciation from. You could start it from your voice box itself. Go. Direct control of the CT muscle. Go. 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 Yeah, that's very good, right? You could also start it from your high glossus muscle back here, the back of the tongue. Go, go, go. Again, very powerful, very good position. Now, when you start the tone in any of those two positions, the high glossus or the CT, go, go, you're basically using a position that you can pronounce some words, but you cannot pronounce all your words in those positions. And you're also going directly onto pitch affecting muscles. Now, if you imagine your legs as your walking muscles, right? Your walking muscles are right there. Now, yes, of course you do use them directly, but you do not necessarily in any way tension your legs before you walk. Your legs sort of tension and release as you walk, to the point where you don't really feel them. And obviously after many miles, when they get tired, you'd feel them. But for the long part, you're just walking. And when you're making sound, you want it to be a bit like that. You want those muscles, those ones I just hit directly, g, g, to come in automatically and not be sort of pushed, because they just won't last as long. Now, so what have you got left? Not only that, as I say, coordination between them and the rest of your tongue, which is the flappy part. You can move that part really freely. Great for pronouncing. And also, funnily enough, great for making your voice last, because when you employ your pronunciation from those positions, from that position, that front of the tongue, the dorsum, do, I just changed pitch, I did everything, and I did not even have to employ my CT directly or my hair glossus directly. Both of those muscles were free, call them like my leg muscles. They were free to tension as they needed to without me having to even consciously employ them. So the pressure's off them. Now, for that reason, I would say the best place to pronounce is the dorsum. And of course, you can make back and front sounds in the dorsum. G, 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 g. Just like I was going g, 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 g. Or g, 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 g. I can also go g, 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 g. And it's really big. It's nice and free. G, 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 g. Can adjust the tension so easily. Go, 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 go. So there we have it. First point of contact was breathe in. Second point was pronounce in the dorsum. go. Now, the third thing is where you're going to sustain. Now, that diaphragm is there. It's great for sustaining because it is the actual breathing muscle. So if you really want to sustain, you have to have the diaphragm involved in your sustain. So one would call that support. So after I go DT, we'll use T to mean tongue. Now I'm going to go back down to my diaphragm to rest on it, to support. So I'm going to breathe in, do, and sort of just open up, relax that whole front area, those abs perhaps, and allow that tone to fly back and connect with that diaphragm. Do. Now it feels like I'm pushing the diaphragm up against that tone, supporting it. Do. First I made space for it by breathing in. Do. Then I pulsed it. Then I rested it. Do. But you notice I'm still pronouncing. So my energy or my attention has to come back to my dorsum again. And again, it's very light. When I pronounce there, then support here, it takes even more tension off that dorsum. Do. And considering I can change pitch with that, the more relaxed it is, the better. So I want to go D, T, D. And then finally up to the T position again for that final bit of sizzle or pronunciation that you're doing. And of course, readiness to start the next tone. Do. So I've gone breathe, toe, diaphragm, toe. Oh, do. That final sustain is being held between a controlled diaphragm and the tensioned tongue. Do. As you can see, as I tension up my dorsum, do. I can start it tense, so I can do. Or I can tension it as I go and release as I go. So the dorsum is really good for pronouncing and changing the tension of your tone, changing the quality of your tone. Do. Without even having to trouble the high glossy muscle, which is working, or the CT, which is working. Proof that they're working, you can feel them. Do. That mainspring is helping the vocal cord stretch, as is the CT. Do. So this technical lesson is actually not going to take as long as I thought. Just to recap, we're talking the flow of action in order to make a good, healthy tone. Diaphragm, tongue, diaphragm, tongue. So, and that all comes into one phrase, like doing. Notice we finished back at the tongue. That sustain was between the tongue and the diaphragm. The beginning bit was the in-breath. The first bit after the in-breath was the pulse, was the tongue. Do. So there you have it. Really important technical lesson regarding vocal production, and the seemingly easiest way to do it, allowing the muscles that do tension the vocal cords and all the vocal apparatus to hang freely and to just come in as and when they're needed. You know, as you go up in pitch, those muscles will be tensioning naturally without you forcing them to tension, which is actually interfering with the tone, as opposed to letting it be free, like stiffening your legs when you walk. Similar kind of analogy. So there we have it. DTDT, practice, practice, practice.